Morning Year 5 and welcome to Thursday's English. So today we are carrying on with our setting description, but today we are going to plan a longer paragraph using some of the skills you started yesterday. So let's have a bit of a warm up. Let's think about the adjectives that we would need to use in a very powerful setting description. So I've got 4 adjectives here for you: big, scary, cold, windy. To make a really powerful setting description paragraph, we would definitely want to use more effective words. So pause the screen now. How many words can you think of that would be more engaging than these 4? So pause the screen and then I'll go through some. Okay, so I've got the skill of being able to use my synonyms here. Large, giant, immense, vast, great, gigantic, huge, enormous. All, I would say, are more powerful than big. Hopefully you got some of those. Let's do the same. Find our synonyms for scary: frightening, creepy, chilling, terrifying, petrifying, daunting, forbidding, blood-curdling. Hopefully you got some of those. Let's have a look for our synonyms for cold. Oops. Here we are. Emotionless. Actually, we don't want those ones. We want these ones down here. Icy. Cold can also mean like emotionless. So you've got both meanings there, but we were talking more about the icy or stony. If I open up here, chilly, freezing, frost. Those are some of the ones we could have. And let's have a look for windy, blustery, breezy, stormy, blowy, gusty. Could have been the ones there. So when you're doing any writing this week, make sure that you're always thinking, what is the most effective adjective I can use? And feel free to use a thesaurus online or in person. Okay, today we're going to be planning our setting description paragraph that you're going to write tomorrow. I've got 4 pictures you might like to choose from. You might like to choose your own as well, which is fine. So we've got kind of a idyllic looking town inside of this kind of bubble. Everything on the outside looks very dry and deserty. We've got an old attic with some antiques and some toys. I've got a very colourful, maybe a little village with a fountain and it's raining and there's a rainbow. And I've got this kind of magical fountain here with the gold floor. You can also pick the 2 from yesterday. I don't mind, as long as in your mind, you've really got a strong picture you're describing. So you can always flick back to these, and I've also attached them as PDF pictures to your assignment for today. So today we are going to go through like a table asking you to make notes about your setting. So I'm going to talk through it all now, and then if you go onto your assignment, you'll see the table that you need to fill in. So the first thing, we know we need to actually say where this setting is. So the 4 questions you're going to answer here: the size, or like what it is it a town, is it a room, is it a huge town? So just how much space do you need, whether it's just a cave, whether it's a whole village, whether it's a whole world. The second one is the actual location. So make sure you maybe name your fantasy location, or choose a name that already exists is fine as well. Your inhabitants. Okay, so what creatures and people live here? So you've got to decide not only who lives there, but who your main character will be. So are they an alien? Are they a creature? Are they an animal? Are they a human? Is fine as well. Are they a princess, or are they a army soldier? Whoever it is that lives there. And then what's the biggest focus? What would be the first thing your eye is drawn to? Because that's going to take up the biggest part of your description. So if mine here was an emerald forest, and I've got these unknown creatures and some mice, my first focus could be a pot hanging over the fire in the middle of the cave. So like a fire with a cave hanging on it, just like our stone soup story from last week. So this will be the first kind of opening. You need to just really clearly have in your mind what you are describing, because then we're going into some more detail. We need to make sure that we're describing the setting as if it's from the eyes of our main character. So you're going to actually put your main character there. So mine could be a boy called Ali, 10 years old, and he's an adventurer, and that's how he's ended up in this cave. You need to decide who your main character is, because then you're going to make some notes. How are they feeling when they arrive? That comes into our senses of feeling. So maybe my character was confident. That's why he was exploring. He's an adventurer. Also quite curious, oh, what's inside that cave? How will I show this is different though, because I'm not just going to say I was feeling confident and curious, because we are able to paint more of a picture. So instead, I'm going to have my character striding into the cave, and that shows that confidence. I'm also going to have a bit of speech. Hello, she called or he called in a ringing voice. Ringing helps me understand it would be echoey. And maybe my character is touching everything and peering everywhere, which would suggest that they are curious. So you really need to start thinking of your kind of show, not tell there. Okay, then we need to start thinking, what is your character doing in the setting? So actually Ali heads into the cave and tries to speak to the owner. When they aren't there, she looks around and inspects the objects. She looks at the pot of the fire and discovers the bones on the floor. So you need to be playing this out in your mind as if it's a movie. What is your character doing? If you're choosing the fountain, are they dipping their hand in the fountain and taking a drink of the fresh water? If you're doing the attic, are they actually opening all of the boxes and playing with the toys? What are they doing? Okay, the next question then is about feelings again. So we had how they were feeling when they arrived, but now how has their feeling changed as they're moving around? So maybe my character is getting more scared as she actually notices there's bones and mice in the cave. But again, rather than just saying, I started to feel scared, I'm going to paint that as a picture. Nervous feeling in her stomach, cold sweat dripping down her back, a voice becoming a small squeak. So you've got to think about the things. It's like we're doing inference, but backwards now. You've got to think about how you can describe that to the reader without being too obvious. Okay, the next section, you're not going to do all of, but this could be an extra challenge if you're wanting a challenge at the bottom of your sheet. For everyone, I have put in about your prepositions. These are your fronted adverbials that actually are the where fronted adverbials, because with a setting description, I find those really effective. So in the very center of the cave, comma, Ali stood on her tiptoes and peered into the large pot. Inside so these are your prepositional phrases that can be used as fronted adverbials. If you're wanting an extra challenge, you could also start to think about how you're going to use similes or metaphors or personification, like me saying the ship was lurking in the ocean. The ships don't actually lurk because that's a human characteristic. So that could be a challenge for you. And also, if you're wanting an extra challenge, start thinking about how you're going to get relative clauses in this paragraph as well. So when you are coming to plan, what it's going to help you to do tomorrow is it will help organize your descriptive paragraph. And this was the picture I was using. So you could also use elements of that. So on your assignment today, if you go onto your Teams, you will see the planning grid pretty much like this, but these will be blank, and you are able to make notes about your setting, and then you'll be able to help solidify that image in your head, ready for turning that into a paragraph tomorrow. So take your time over your plan, choose your picture carefully, make some notes in your planning grid, and then tomorrow we'll talk through how to get that into a paragraph. Well done, guys.